Hello guys, welcome back to not Sid on Sports. It's now called Top Man Sid, because my name is Sid and I'm been through a 2-month break. If you've stuck with me, one of those 30 subscribers who haven't seen me past this summer after that Europa League final review. That was the last game of the season technically, so I'm allowed to take a break. But I should have made some videos, particularly to do with the transfer for Manchester United. But I've just been thinking a lot about this channel. I've just gone through a rebranding, and yeah, expect some Manchester United focused content, as well as some FIFA 20 content coming, and of course some gaming actually. So yeah, I'm not sure about the gaming side of things, if maybe it'll just be FIFA gaming and all football based. But yeah, I want this to be more of overarching channel. Sit on Sports, the name doesn't really make any sense when you consider that the only sport I only ever talk about on this channel is football. And yeah, it's my favorite game, and it's the only game I'm willing to talk about, to be honest. And of course, for the past 12 months or so with this channel, I've been doing some match reviews for Manchester United, mostly in the Premier League, and I'll be trying to step that up a bit more every week. Every time Manchester United play a game, I'll try to do a video as much as I possibly can. And yeah, it's just opinion from me, one fan, and of course you've got your own opinions on what happened in every match of the Premier League, let alone Manchester United, the biggest team in the world. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts down below on the recent game. And it's an important game. It's the first game of the Premier League season, and that's what we will be talking about today. And that's what we'll talk about. And we're talking about Manchester United versus Chelsea. Of course, forgive me if I'm a bit rusty in this discussion business. It's been a while. And yeah, I just wanted to get my thoughts out there. Good chance to talk about the summer and how people were feeling towards this match beforehand. Fans weren't unhappy with the transfer business for Manchester United. I'd agree, but I was mostly happy, to be honest. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Those people were giving it like 4s or 2s out of 10. Basically because the Glazers refused to, well, Ed Woodward more so, just couldn't get a replacement for Lukaku or Herrera. Who knows if they were even considering it, because apparently the rumours of Bruno Fernandes, no official source like BBC or Sky Sports were really reporting that. So it was quite confusion, another mess as far as people were concerned before the match. And yeah, I wasn't happy we didn't get a replacement for Herrera, especially. He was a great player. If you heard me on my last rant on Manchester United and why we didn't make top 4, I was stunned at how we let such a good player go and not even replaced him now. Now that we haven't replaced him, that makes our midfield a bit more suspect. And again, Pogba has to carry the midfield in terms of creativity and just making something happen and trying to compete against the big sides, because Chelsea is still a big side. They've lost their big players, well, the biggest influential player in Hazard, but they're still a force to be reckoned with. And Frank Lampard was looking to, of course, get off to a great start and try to prove the doubters wrong. And what better than to beat Manchester United in their own turf, and obviously get off to a great start with their team. But he wanted to impose his own style, and as pundits were saying after the game, he might have been a bit naive in that sense. He tried to go attacking, and the first half it was working. And of course the midfield battle, that's where it came to, and Pogba was quite struggling in that sense. He was trying to pull off some flicks and tricks, as he usually does, that sometimes just doesn't come off. And you're willing to forgive that if he performs later on, and he surely did. But we'll talk about that in a bit. What we're talking about now is just the first half. It was quite edgy, quite shaky, as it always is in the first game of the season. People are nervous, both players alike, both teams. But Chelsea, they got some good chances out. They had Tammy Abraham playing, Mason Mount playing, loan players who are now fully be given the time to develop thanks to the transfer ban and also Frank Lampard's management. And Tammy Abraham, he struck the post in the first couple of minutes. I think, yeah, first 10 minutes or so, he struck the post. And yeah, I was really concerned about that. They had the better of the chances. We just couldn't get much of the ball. The midfield, again, that wasn't good enough, as many people were saying. We needed a backup for Herrera. We didn't get one. Solskjaer went for Pereira. McTominay Pogba combination instead. Well, that's the only options he's had, and I had to admit it was the best choice we could have got, to be honest. Giving Pereira a chance while also having McTominay as the CDM, trying to replace the Matic role. Matic has gone slow down in in recent years, so to speak, and Pereira could be a man-to-man or box-to-box, midfielder for the incoming season. You never know. I think he could do a good job in that because he can play good at CDM, but also he had the ability to play in a more attacking role that I've mentioned in previous match reviews, particularly the Southampton home game at home last season. He really flourished in that game, and that was probably his best Premier League game to date, in which he scored that 20-yard, 30-yard banger. But now Pereira always does good in pre-season. He did good in pre-season. Solskjaer rewarded him, and now it's Pereira's chance to not just always do good in pre-season, but not fail to do it in actual important matches where it matters. Of course, Solskjaer said it really ever matters when you want those 3 points, and we need those 3 points badly if we want to challenge for top 4, which is unfortunate of our position. We should be aiming for higher, but at this stage we have to aim for top 4. And yeah, our midfield was struggling, and and our defence was being pressured a lot. And Chelsea were unlucky to hit the post, not once, but also twice in the same half. I think Emerson? Yeah, Emerson was very comfortable on the ball. He's getting more game time. As I said, Pereira's getting more game time for us. Of course, Chelsea are getting players that are way more, haven't played whatsoever in the Premier League before. Emerson getting a start here, a rare start, and he looked comfortable on the ball. It looks like Frank Lampard might be... Of course, these players are still used to the playing out the back system, and Emerson was good at that, and he hit the post as well, the inside of the post, rocketed it. They were switching sides, they were switching from left to right really quickly, and that our defence, of course, it's a good defence on paper, great defence on paper, but of course transfers coming in, it's hard to settle first game of the season. Not everything's been trained in, not been drilled in just yet. So Emerson got his chance and struck the post. And we got another let's get a jail-free card. We got away with it again. But we still had some good chances. It's not like Chelsea completely dominated, but I would say 60-40 they were the most dominant force in that game. And yeah, they were bypassing our midfield quite a lot, but we just couldn't get the ball. But when we got the ball, we saw some times that Chelsea's defence was a bit shaky. It was a bit shaky. Of course, that eventually came to a head with Zuma's penalty. But before that, I think Martial got like a shot on outside the box after I think one of the centre backs let the ball go, or I think the goalkeeper. Who's the goalkeeper for Chelsea? Kepa. Was Kepa even playing? I don't even know, man. Excuse me, guys. I should be knowing this. I know more about my own team, what they were doing, but I try to keep these discussions quite. I try not to be too biased and try and talk about the other side, obviously, Chelsea. But Chelsea made a mistake at the back. Martial just couldn't get the foot in, and he just passed it more or less. Tried to shoot, but passed it more or less to the keeper. And of course, Martial does that face. He always does, like a dirty face, like, ugh, crap, I can do better than that. Of course, now Martial and Rashford are the strikers for this season. Speaking of not replacing Herrera, we didn't replace Lukaku either. But now Martial and Rashford are the strikers for this season. And with the attack, I'm more comfortable with. And because Martial and Rashford, I feel have great potential. If you give them game time, they perform. Rashford last season, he did well to serve under Ole, and Ole gave him the chance to do so. I would have loved to see a plan B, like Mandzukic, to come in and fill in the Lukaku sub role. That of course Lukaku didn't want to be a substitute, so of course he left to Inter Milan. We got our money's back. That's good enough, I guess. Let's hope it's reinvested in the squad. I'm looking at you, Ed Woodward, or the board itself. But yeah, Rashford, he was playing. Lots of people give him stick last season, this season, or just hesitations, as it were. Let's say that. But if he can perform, I think Rashford, who was playing with an injury the past few games of last season, people forget that, and I feel like he gives his all for the shirt. He acts very professional, and yeah, I think him and Martial could really provide a good, strong partnership. I'm not going to say he's bloody Rooney, Tevez, or York and Cole levels. Maybe not right away. This season, we're still in the period of first full season with Ole, trying to get for top 4, as I said. But Martial and Rashford, they showed their class today, and Of course, Martial's first shot, as I said, didn't come off for him. First couple of shots. Of course, again, like I said, trying to play more together, trying to under a new system. But with new system, new game, new season, obviously gonna spend some time just practicing your shots off. But of course, when it gets important, you need to finish them and bury them. And of course, we got that chance to in the penalty spot when Zuma made that mistake. We got the advantage. Zuma, 23rd minute, I think, something like that. Slide tackles Rashford, with of course with the pace they've got. That's the benefits of having a pacey team as Solskjaer likes to have. Of course, defenders can't get used to that. Those who can't get used to it, and of course Zuma and Christensen, again inexperienced, haven't started together, let alone Premier League games that much. So it was always going to be hard for them. But they're good defenders on their day, but it'll give them time to settle into their squad. But Rashford's already been given the confidence by Ole to play lots of games, runs, gets slide tackled. Of course, again, he's had the experience of penalties before. Paris Saint-Germain, top left corner, very comfortable. There, 1-0 to Manchester United. And yeah, from there, I think our calms, our nerves settled. Before then, Chelsea were on the right foot. I think after the penalty, actually. For the rest of the half, it was quite a 50-50 after that. But I think as the game went on, we took control of the game. And Pogba stopped making silly mistakes and stopped misplacing as many passes as he would, and started stepping up his roles and not just do the simple stuff right, but then, of course, as you get more into the game, now perform the high physicality, the high drive into the box, darting into the area that we all know Pogba can accomplish, and he is so good at that. 2-0, the midfield gets more comfortable, of course. I still feel we need a backup for the rest of the season, but for this match in particular, we rolled our luck a bit, but then second half we got there in the end, and we just went out there and didn't just settle for 1-0. Obviously, Ole wants an attacking system, and we just really, once the confidence was there, we were able to push on and get that second goal. Pereira goes out wide, gets a good crossing, and Martial with a good poacher's goal. And you don't see it. I think Solskjaer said you don't really see a lot of that from Martial. Solskjaer likes his strikers to have a mix of range of goals, not just good running, not good runs into the box and finesse shots. He wants a mix of poachers and like skill goals, if you know what I mean. My terminology, need to get more football terminology up there. I'm just a fan, by the way. Let me know your thoughts down below. Did Chelsea deserve to lose 4-0? I think the scoreline was a bit flattering, but by the end we were just confident. And if we can get that consistency from that second half into the whole game, because starting well in big games is always important. Every game is important, but big games especially. If you start well, you're more likely going to win the game. If you take your chances, that is. Of course, we took our chances. Martial got the poacher's goal after Pereira did a crossing, and he got an assist. I think hopefully Pereira can have more good games. The Southampton game last season, I'll go back to that. That was a stepping stone for him. But now this is Pereira's chance, especially with the midfield not being as backed up as it could be. Pereira has something in the squad. He has something to offer, and he can play a lot of games. And hopefully this is again another stepping stone for him for the first game of the season to crack on, and for the next couple of games for the rest of the season maybe become a good centre mid. Hopefully until January when we get Bruno Fernandes. Of course we want some reinforcements in January, but I think the new signing really impressed today, and I haven't even started about Harry Maguire, because there's nothing else to say about Harry Maguire. 80 million, too much, who cares? No Lukaku, no problem. No Bailly, no problem. I don't know why I'm leaving these silences. I'm just letting you know that just Harry was just no nonsense defending. He wasn't even like it's just that our defense was so shambolic last season, or the past couple of seasons, that just no nonsense defending just looks sensational to witness. Of course, our new signing being welcomed by the fans, lovely to see, clapping every time he heads the ball. Slabhead does it again, and he was just everywhere. He was just Just do every time Chelsea in the second half try to get into the box, interceptions. But not just Maguire, but also Lindelof, who was again underrated in this game. I think more people are now like seeing Lindelof for the good player is. Of course, wants to build on that first good consistent season he got last season. That was his first full season, I think. Yeah, I mean this is his second full season. Lindelof is found his partner in Maguire, and that's gonna flourish so hard. I'm so excited, and we've got our defense down. That was our biggest problem last season. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, and the board have fixed that. Good for them. 80 million in the bank. Maguire could be a Van Dijk. Of course, there's always going to be comparisons, but he's just what we need. He's just what we need, and with Tuanzebe being a good backup, that just removes the other deadwood from the squad, and hopefully they can be supported to leave the club. But there's still time in the transfer window for that to happen. Of course, I think it was the second signing we got in the transfer window. We got Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the Spider, and I didn't watch many videos of him. I only watched like one YouTube compilation like ages ago, before like a few months before we actually signed him. I'm so glad we did. Oh, frames. Oh. Sorry guys, went through your problem with the recording there. Yeah. Oh, bloody hell. Sorry guys about that. With a new season comes new updated software, and the software was telling me that some frame rates are going to be in drop, so I was just a bit paranoid about that. Let's hope it comes well through in the video. Of course, constructive criticism on the quality of the videos, how you want me to like showcase things, pictures and stuff like that. There's no reason why you can't leave that down. Don't be worried to do that. I'll be always happy to take that on board and trying to improve these discussion videos and other videos like that as well. Yeah, what was I talking about? I was talking about Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the Spider. His tackling defensive ability is the best in the league in terms of being a fullback. Fight me on that. Wan-Bissaka just, of course, he had a great pre-season. He was an early signing, so he had some time under his belt to gel well with the squad, and he really is just showing his class. And of course, he was getting up forward as well, trying to not too scared to go and attack as well. Of course, that's a little bit less when you have his defensive ability is so good. His attacking ability, of course, is going to be hard to compare, but he's only going to get better with that. And he's so young, he's getting better. I can't wait for him to flourish under some new leaderships and the players around him. Not just Pogba, but also Maguire. Maguire was really showing some leadership qualities after we scored the first couple of goals. Maguire was giving a pep talk. I could see that. Like talking as if, I could see from the screen, he was like comfortable, as if they're both comfortable actually. Both defenders, new defenders, playing as if they have been in the club for years. And that's the composure we needed at the back. Really well done there. And so yeah, we got the second goal there. A third goal. What was the third goal? Oh yes, the classic Pogba over the top to Rashford. Perfectly timed. No VAR is needed this time. Cool finished, as Rashford has been practicing, and Rashford is gonna. I'm confident Rashford and Martial can get a 20 goal season between them. Who knows? Maybe even better. But of course, it's early days, and 3-0. Pogba's just quality, steps up. He did that a lot in his first season with Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic just couldn't always finish them, and of course Ibrahimovic would score his own goals anyway. So yeah, Pogba's always been doing that, but now I think Pogba's found a little bit of link connection. There's a running pattern. He always does that with Rashford, and Rashford always finishes them. He did that against Leicester last season. Did that against Tottenham last season. I think he did that in another match as well last season. I think that's cool to see as well. Some chemistry building between them two, of course. Again, Ole's been playing them too much throughout his tenure and giving them the trust that he needs. They both need, compared to other managers like Jose Mourinho. Now, of course, it was good to see Mourinho watching the game as well as the pundit. That's a discussion for another time. Well, a discussion I've had loads of times, but just people just running their mouth about Pogba again. It's just he's always the centre of attention, but he wasn't the best today. But we still needed his services, he still stepped up, and other players around him are good enough as well to carry the load, so to speak. And that's good. We can't have Pogba always being pressured to perform to do the attacking quantities, to do everything in terms of creativity in the midfield, as well as pushing on into the box. We need other players to support him as well, build a team around him, and that's what we're trying to do. That's what Ole is succeeding right now. It's a process, long term. It's not going to be clicking straight away. It's not going to be perfect straight away. But it feels like we feel like we have a system that we're following. We're going into the right direction, and we haven't had that with any other manager before. And Ole's really getting that, and hopefully Pogba sees that, and hopefully we can get the performances needed to sustain the top 4 place and look like we're going in the right direction. And maybe the speculation about Pogba leaving might settle down a bit if Pogba sees that we're making improvements in the team and going in the right direction. Because I think that's the problem with Pogba. I think he's too hesitant about in a project that might not go anywhere. But he's been professional all pre-season, and hopefully he stays with us because he's a good asset to the team, and I think he can be more consistent this year as well. I think he's becoming better and better as he plays with Manchester United. Just not always relied on penalties, eh? Hey, you got 2 assists again. He had that 4th assist, well, the 2nd assist for the 4th goal for Daniel James, that 3rd and final signing. Well, the first signing actually we made. Could have been much earlier, of course, but of course, as you know, his dad died in the summer. Been through a lot. Came on as a sub, as I thought would be best for the team. I don't think he's a straight starter. Came from the Championship, only scored 4 goals there, but we saw the scouting system looking for. Of course, there's a system to how we do transfers now as well. Young, vibrant, for some reason all English players or British players. Brexit means Brexit. Nah, I'm joking. I'm just joking. But of course, Daniel James, of course, many writing him off as a substitute. Maybe not many, but just not maybe seeing him making an impact, and certainly not making a debut goal. But when you have Pogba helping, does it hurt for him to help? Pogba drives in, Martial link up 1-2 with Martial and Pogba. Pogba drives into the box. One time in the, I think it was the 60th minute. At that time, I thought he was gonna just run straight in 1-on-1. But of course, I think the defenders actually catched up with him, and then he stepped back. Or maybe not. Maybe Pogba just saw that young James running in space and was like unselfish, gonna give him a chance to score on a debut. Yeah, I think he would like that. I think he deserves that after all he's been through. He lets the ball on for too long. The defender's in front of him, but Daniel James, he could have shot that first time, but he made a little bit of a mistake, but he made up for it with a powerful shot that, when deflected, is still not enough, and he gets on the bottom left corner, and he gets that 4th goal, and Manchester United looking like a solid foundation. 4 goals, no coming back for Chelsea. And Daniel James, you could see what it meant to him, scoring that goal. And I've seen lots of people on Twitter, if you don't get teared up on that, like, you got no soul. Not just no soul, you got no Man United soul, mate. And that's going to give him the wonders of confidence that he can push on and maybe just do it. Of course, the good thing about having the Europa League this season is that we can just play our young players. There's less pressure. We can play those second squad players, reserves, in those games and give them time to flourish. And something tells me I don't think Daniel James is not going to become one of those people who just sit on the bench and do nothing and not contribute to the squad as much. We need depth, and we're not put there yet, but we're getting more depth. Hopefully we can get another midfielder in January. But Daniel James is a good attacking threat. Nice wing. He's a good old-fashioned winger. Welsh wizard. Where have you heard that one before? But yeah, he's a good attacking. We need attacking options, and he can be one, maybe a backup. He can play anywhere. He can play striker, left wing, right wing. So that'll be a good option throughout the season, and yeah, he can score some goals too. So yeah, with that said, I think that's enough for me. I think that's everything covered, actually, and I think I saw on the BBC Sport website. I think that was our biggest win against Chelsea in 65 years or something like that, or since 1965 or something. That was a good stat. Good stuff. Good stuff, BBC Sport. Good stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Martial with his number 9 shirt. It's just he never let that out of his Instagram name. Always left that number 9 there. Good. Martial. I've said this before, I'll say it again for the final time. Probably not. Martial FC, we move. The more time you give Martial to flourish, especially as a striker. Maybe he could even move out to the left. But if you give him time to flourish and give him games, he will perform as well. Speaking of young, he's a young player as well. This is one of the youngest sides in the Premier League to start, and I'm excited to see what follows. And next week game, don't get me wrong, we're probably not gonna win the league or anything, but let's try and keep the momentum up and try and secure our top 4 position. And then from there, we can talk about bigger and better things, and things that are expected of Manchester United. But this game, we saw a team that all played for the badge, all worked hard. No one you could fault for their lack of effort. Luke Shaw, of course, people saying he could be the weak link of the defence. When people are calling your player of the season last year the weakest part of the defence, that's when you know something's going right. And yeah, probably he needs to shred some pounds, get some more pace in. But I trust Luke Shaw, of course. This will do everyone confidence that their work hard's paying off, and that's what all we want to see. Just work hard and just pick the right players away as well to work hard as well. Just give new blood a chance. Have some experience around it. Have some leaders around it. And yeah, next week's game against Wolves might be even a harder game. Of course, we can't really judge Chelsea's quality too much. They're fighting for top 6 as well as us. But it's Wolverhampton. We lost to them twice last season. They're going to be trying to challenge for break into that top 6. So that's going to be just as big of a game, and I can't wait to see it. But let's try and redeem ourselves. Let's try and see if Ole can win this game and get a point at least. We all want the 3 points, obviously. We should be getting it. A team of our caliber, but Wolves will be stepping up. It'll probably be a hard game. It's away. Let's try and keep this consistency. Try and make Old Trafford a fortress, as Maguire wants to say. Love that. Love that from him. Try and keep more clean sheets. And yeah, I'm just excited for the season to be underway. And yeah, hope you guys appreciate this video. If you watched all this video, I really appreciate it. It's a long time for me talking, and thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and share on the Top Man Sid YouTube channel. There's way more and more varying content to come in there by the end of the year. But for now, the season's underway, and you care to check me out for my next video, which will be the Wolves game. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.